Have you been using the same rhythm strategies in your lessons forever? In this video, I'll give you 3 new rhythm games to try. If we haven't met before, my name's Nicola Canton. I run Colourful Keys, Vibrant Music Teaching and Vivid Practice. And I've been a piano teacher for about over half my life, well over half my life now. And when I first started as a teenager, I definitely just did the standard clapping drills, and that was it when it came to working on rhythm with my students. But I now have a whole toolkit of different ways to teach rhythm and rhythm games I can do with them so that it's fun and my students have rock steady rhythm. For the first game, we're using these rhythm cards. You don't need these to do this, okay? So you can grab these on our site, but you can actually just write out your own if you prefer. You can just get pieces of paper or card or whatever. Each card here, it's just a handy pack where each card has 1 bar or 1 measure of rhythm, and that's it. Okay, and they're all in the same time signature, so that's important. So to play this game, it's called Rhythm Race. I turn to my student or one of my students if I'm in a group lesson, and I say, pick a card, any card. And they pick out a card. Let's say they pick this one, okay? They pick out a card and we put it somewhere in the room. So I'm not going to move around because you wouldn't be able to see anyway, but I put this, say, on my shelves, which are over there behind the camera, or on the piano or somewhere else. And then we pick another card and we put it in a different spot in the room, and another one and another one. So now we have 4 cards basically in the 4 corners of the room, or roughly the 4 corners of the room, depending on what furniture you have in place and stuff. And then I am going to clap one of those rhythms and my students have to go to that one, race to that one. That's why it's called Rhythm Race. So I clap, or whatever the rhythm may be, without staring at it while I clap it, and they go to that one. And then from there we develop it so that they're the ones clapping. And that works really well because they have to retain the rhythm in their head so that they're not looking at the one that they're clapping and giving the game away. And we develop it from there. We can add more cards. So there's like 8 to choose from, and now you have to be really precise with both your clapping and your identifying. And we also develop it that we play them on the piano. So instead of clapping the rhythm or using a drum, we play on 1 repeated note, or we make up a little melody that's in that rhythm, and students, whoever's running, needs to go to that rhythm card. Number 2, you don't need anything for this. It's called Swap Swap, and it's my favorite thing ever for working on anything. Any 2 rhythm values, note values. So you're gonna assign different actions to 2 different note values. The simplest, let's say, is ta and tt, or you might call that a crotchet and 2 quavers, or you might call it a quarter note and 2 eighth notes, right? So let's say ta is this. I use Kadai syllables, as you can tell, and tt is this. Well, one person starts with one and the other starts with the other, and then you swap. So let's say I say to my student, okay, you start with tt like this, and I'll start with ta, and then we'll swap when I say so. And I'll start off, and they're with me, doing their t on their legs. And then I say 1, 2, ready, swap, and we swap with each other without losing a beat. This helps with steady beat, obviously, but it also helps enormously with understanding that rhythms, note values, are relative. They're not absolute. Quavers or eighth notes aren't always fast, and semibreves or whole notes could be quite quick. It depends how fast or slow the tempo is, right? So I think this communicates that really well and lets students experience that relative nature of notes. It's also awesome for working on things like triplets and semiquavers, 16th notes, developing it into different patterns that you can do so that you understand the relationship between these things. The last game I'm sharing with you today is Blind Mirror. So for this one, you can use the rhythm vocab cards, these guys, again. You can have students write a rhythm on a piece of paper or a whiteboard, or you can use relative rhythm cards. I do this most commonly with relative rhythms, which are cards where a semibreve or a whole note is 4 times the width of a crotchet or quarter note. So they're all proportional to each other, and those are really fun. You can grab those in the library if you're a member. So for this one, you sit back to back with your student if you're in a one-on-one lesson, Or you have two students together or multiple students, they sit facing away from each other. And then you're either going to give them a rhythm at random if you're using cards, or have them write or create their own rhythm, specify how many bars it should be and what time signature it should be in to make things a little bit clearer. Once they've created their rhythm, student A is going to clap or vocalize or otherwise perform their rhythm in some way. And the other students need to then create or write down that rhythm. So that's why I like the relative rhythm cards, because they can create their own and then they can try and create the other one underneath that they're hearing from the other student. So student A is clapping or vocalizing the rhythm, the other one's trying to recreate it, and then they clap or vocalize it back, reading what they've written. And we see, does it match? And we keep doing them back and forth, see if they can do them together. Okay, they're matching. And then student B does theirs and student A takes their turn to try and transpose what it is that they've created. I have tons more rhythm games like this in my book, which is called Rhythm in 5. You can get it on Amazon or all places that books are sold. And also, you may even be able to order it from your public library if you ask them nicely. If you want more rhythm teaching ideas, watch this video next.